Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here. You're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports UK.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Combat Sports UK MMA podcast. As usual, by now, I'm joined by John Gamebred. Boguslavski. John, how are you, mate?
Good. That never gets old. The game.
It's not going to get old. It's not going to get old. You can thank Nathan as much as you want for bestowing that nickname on you. I think it's a nice little fit. So we're here to review UFC Fight Night, Dolidze versus Imavov. Pretty much for me, when I went to research this event on Tapology, I typed in Renato Moicano to find the little link to the fight night. So that kind of leans. Surprised I didn't type Randy Brown actually, but that kind of leans how I was feeling about this card. How did you feel about this card overall?
I think it started slow, but then picked up later on, in the prelims, especially with 3 decisions, and then Carolina got the knockout. We had the Blake Baldur's is Lee Jong-young, and then it start picking up after that, and some controversy at the end. Yeah,
the prelims were a slow watch, so to speak. Especially those first 2 fights. That Jamal Pogues Thomas Peterson fight was a dredge. I mean, they started here at 10 o'clock my time, so I watched the first couple of prelims. I didn't stay up to watch the rest. I think I made it past the Jamal Pogues fight. I thought, oh, okay, right, one more. And then I saw Landon Quinones. He was obviously on the channel in an interview, so I thought, okay, I'll stick around and watch his fight. And then I saw next it was Luana Carolina, the battle of the Molly McCann leftovers, basically. Even though Stoliarenko beat Molly McCann, I thought, no, I'm not going to be watching that. So I picked it up in the gym the next morning. Themba Karimbo was incredibly exciting. I really liked his power. I like that fight a lot. Not so sure about him. Go on.
I posted the finish on our Twitter page, and this morning it was up to like 12K views. So
yeah,
it's pretty
dude's
good.
got a story.
It has 19.1K views and
wow,
4 bookmarks for some reason, but it's our
people want to be able to say
liked.
I was there. I was there watching him on the prelims before even The Rock. Well, no, The Rock actually discovered him after his last fight, didn't he? So Charles Johnson was very good, right?
Charles Johnson. Yeah. Well, you told me about Azat
Maxim, yeah.
Maxim, yeah. You told me about him, undefeated fighter. He's actually my pick for the last man standing, and fortunately got out of that one. Yeah.
Tough though, because he could have finished him off in that first round.
I think, yeah. I don't know if we'll have time to get in later, but I think Azat started really strong, and then I think he blew his arms out trying to go for that choke, for that guillotine choke, and then he was holding it on for like a solid minute until Johnson just round 2 and 3 just demolished him.
Yeah, Johnson was very good. I mean, we're there as well, so we might as well go for it right now. I mean, everyone's kind of thinking, 17-0, kind of he's from Kazakhstan. He's got to be Shavkat 2.0, just in a lower weight class, right? But Charles Johnson came back at him, man. Really, really good victory in those last 2 rounds, I thought.
And it started to look like that too in round 1, because it was all Azad in the first round.
Yeah,
he showed the counters, even dropped Johnson with a beautiful counter, and then went for the choke, tried to go for the finish too early, I believe. And well, he should always go for the finish, but I think he hold on for the choke way too long, and it showed in the later rounds that it tired him out, and he couldn't keep up with Johnson, who's UFC vet at this point. Mm-hmm. Maybe also Azad blew his whole adrenaline dump in the first round, and then just couldn't keep up later on.
Yeah, I really liked him in that first opening few minutes, but definitely had that adrenaline dump. Didn't quite look like he knew what to do when he had him hurt, and when he had him kind of ready to go and finish him. And then when Charles Johnson bounced back at him and kind of said, "No, I'm still here, dude. I'm still here." He just kind of didn't quite know what to do. Very similar to a fight on the road to the UFC. I don't know if you watched that. But in one of the fights, I think it was the last fight, the lightweight fight, I think it was the Chinese guy hammered the Japanese guy Horiguchi with everything he had. Like, he was hitting him with knees, hooks, crosses, everything he had. and he was still coming at him, but then he eventually finished him in the third round. So I think Azat could have done with a little bit of that. I agree with you. He probably did gas a little bit in that third round, and did struggle with it a little bit. But a really good performance from Charles Johnson.
Yeah, not bad. I also do wonder the 17 previous opponents of Azat, what kind of competition level he had.
What level are they at, right?
Yeah, because you never know, like fighting outside of North America, how it looks out there, and could it be stat patterned record, unlike they do in boxing. Although everybody's tough for sure, but you do wonder. He did get assigned to the UFC. There's a reason he's in the UFC, and he showed in the first round, and it could a number of things went wrong for him after.
Yeah, big time, big time. And I mean, a good place to finish off the kind of prelim chat is with our very own Molly McCann. What did you make of Molly McCann's performance?
So I was actually rooting for Diana because she trains in Canada.
Yeah.
But Molly looked phenomenal at strawweight. This could be the right move for her, dropping down from flyweight to strawweight.
Yeah.
Not carrying that extra weight, taking your diet more serious and your training more serious. And she beat Diana once, and now she beat him more convincingly with a armbar submission. So kind of nice how she lost her last fight by armbar, and now she's like, "Look, I've been training. I could do this as well." And with 1 second left in the round, she pulled it off. She made Diana scream. I'm pretty sure I heard like a scream coming out of Diana's, like big grunt. And then good for Molly. Good for her for bounce back after having 2 or 3 consecutive losses. So it's good for her to bounce back, and she's big. She's still a prospect in my eyes, and it's big for the UK. She trains with Patty. Everybody knows her, especially when she came off with that spinning elbow knockout, and that hype continued and kind of derailed with the 2 losses. So it's really nice to see her bounce back. She seems fit. She seems strong in that weight class. So see what kind of damage she could do in strawweight.
Yeah, it's really interesting for her. I mean, my perspective was that Diana Bell beat her. It was very obvious that she was 2 or 3 levels below where Molly is. And I would kind of put Molly maybe just on the cusp of that top 15. I don't know how it would go with some of those top 15 fighters. I mean, it's a really, really competitive division, that one. I mean, you look kind of, everybody's good in there, right? You've got Karolina Kowalkiewicz is ranked again at 13, Michelle Watson Gomez at 14, Gillian Robertson, who's just come off a massive win, in there at 15, who I really love. I love Robertson's style. Even you go into the top 10, you've got Amanda Hebas, Mackenzie Dern, Marina Rodriguez, Gandhi Roba, people like that. I think, like you said, I think Molly's still got a ways to go. I think she's got a lot of ironing out to do. It was good. From my perspective, what I always worry about with Molly McCann is that she carries a lot of emotion into the fight. So it was good to see her kind of come into this one a little bit more stoic, so to speak, a little bit more detached from everything that's going on. And then you saw it all kind of at the end of the fight where she's collapsing on the canvas, and you can see the release. Yeah, the emotion. I mean, those kind of last 4 that I mentioned, and including maybe Angela Hill, Carolina, Michelle Watson, and Gillian Robertson, I think all of those fights are pretty good fights. Gillian's probably looking up because she's just coming off a win.
I wouldn't give her Robertson because she's had grappling heavy. So let Molly stand up for a little bit, not just go with a grappling specialist like Gillian Robertson. Maybe Carolina's a good pick. Michelle Watterson, I don't remember the last time I saw her fight, so that could be a good matchup in the future.
Yeah, I think the Thai lady, Loma Lobomi, I think she's kind of on the cusp of the rankings. She's definitely within that top 20 range. I think that would be a fun fight. Obviously, Lobomi being a Muay Thai specialist, I think that would be a really good fight for Molly, just to kind of get that second weight cut, get that second build up to the weight class, and then maybe you go after a Michelle Watterson or a Karolina Kowalkiewicz. I wouldn't feed it to Gillian Robinson. I totally agree. As much as I'd love to see the fight, because I think it would be really fun, and I really like Gillian Robertson and Molly, I agree with you. I think it's too much too soon in the grappling department. Let her kind of get a feel for the weight class.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Angela Hill, that'll be a really fun fight, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good options, but I think get her one more because of the level difference between Belbita and her. I think that would be a lot of fun. So do you want to go main event down or card opener up? How should we
Let's
go
go.
about it?
We started down, so let's continue down and move our way up. I think we should. There's a lot of talk about Dolidze and Imanov.
Do you want to go straight in? Nassourdine Imavov
No, let's
beat.
go. Let's start. Let's
go
start down and move up.
opener.
Yeah.
Card opener. Charles Radke, Gilbert Urbina. Radke picks up the win by KO in round one. Well, a left hook. Good performance from him, right? Didn't like him much on the mic afterwards, but a good performance, I think, from Radke.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think Gilbert Urbina was very patient. I would say too patient, because it seemed like he was waiting for Radke to throw first, and then once Urbina felt Radke's power, he slowed down and he kept doing a step back while Radke kept moving forward, and then Radke with the 1-2 found the closer. Good performance for Radke. Funny with his post-fight interview in the cage where he's like, I love this crowd, and I'm like, it's the Apex, man. Like there's nobody. There's like 25 people here. Half of them.
Yeah,
is
but
the
Nate Diaz was sitting there, right? Mackenzie Dern was in there as well, so I suppose.
So like, yeah, okay. I guess there's 5 people in the crowd, but you still, I don't know. I feel like it'd be better to say that in front of a crowd, maybe inside the Apex, acknowledge more like the coroner and Dana, the UFC commission.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, good performance on Radke. He broke down Gilbert. Gilbert felt the power and he kept walking him down, and he threw. Gilbert was waiting for Radke to throw first, and Radke threw and landed most of the time and made Gilbert afraid to move forward, and until the end of the round where he caught him and dropped him down. That nice 1-2.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun fight. I mean, he'll be exciting to watch. I think he's on a 3-fight win streak now in the UFC, extended to I think 6 if you include outside of the UFC, which is pretty good. I mean, when you start putting that kind of run together, you start to build up some of that confidence. I liked him. He was very aggressive, looked to really, really push the pace on Gilbert. Gilbert just didn't look like he could handle it.
Yeah.
Where he goes after this is a good question. It's a good question. Maybe stick him in front of a crowd, prelims in front of a crowd, maybe would be pretty good. And then takes us to the fastest no contest in UFC history, 11 seconds. Seems to be the guy like poking eyes, right?
That was a very brutal eye poke. Like the whole thing, like they showed a replay in slow motion and close up, and it was disgusting.
It wasn't nice. No.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Very unfortunate because Alice Cab is undefeated, and Murado has his like punching power, so it would have been interesting to see how the fight would have played out. Not much to say about it, just disgusting eye poke.
And he's got a history. He seems to have a history of doing this, so have to watch out. Have to watch him when booking him again. The next one I thought was really fun. We kind of got turned around mid-show, right, when we were talking about this fight, when we realized how credentialed Natalia Silva is, and I think she turned up, man. I think she really turned up. I think in the first round, she was kind of doing the typical stand 6 foot away and just scream while you punch, and not actually punch anything. And Araujo just kind of looked like, the bit more of the UFC vet, kind of putting on a little bit of pressure. But then, boy, did she come out, and she, especially her taekwondo, looked really good, man. Yeah. I was impressed with Natalia Silva. Not as impressed as I thought I would be, but I think she was good.
She did what she had to do, but she was more impressive what she did compared to Araujo. I disagree with you. Round 1, I think Viviane was just holding Silva down. So just like pushing up to the cage and then not getting any takedowns. I think Silva has amazing takedown defense showing after this. I scored it 30-27 for Silva. I thought she won every round. Okay. The taekwondo stance is really nice from her. She like stays right on the outside, but sneaky kicks. Some kicks landed really nicely and some jabs. If she could round up her game more, get more power punches going in and be more serve or kicks that they'll land and put some more power behind him, I think she could knock out some of these women at flyweight division.
Yeah, you would think so. And it's an interesting division moving forward, this one of probably my favorite of the women's divisions at the moment. She'll obviously take 7. so she'll take
Yep.
Araujo's place. Ahead of her, she's got Barber, Jessica Andrade, Chukagian, Furo, Blanchfield, Shevchenko. I mean, I think all of them, even Barber.
Fight.
I think Macy Barber's matched up, right? She's matched up this coming weekend.
They all have a fight going on, yeah. But
so it could work out quite well timing wise.
Yeah, timing wise, I think it'd be nice. March 30th is the Atlantic City card, and then Blanchfield versus Faryad's there, and they both also have 11 and a 10 fight win streak.
Mm-hmm.
So out of the women's division, this is probably the most stacked one right now with Grasso's champion, Shevchenko, we know her credentials. Blanchfield, Faryad with a long winning streak. Chukogian is like a gatekeeper there. We could see her
she's
match.
Still ranked top 4, honestly.
Yeah, right? I think just like her, the blonde fighter.
Yeah.
The UC must like her. Andrade will be a good fight, both really good stand-up. So she's definitely gonna move up, get 7th, and see what even Rahiba's at 8th right now. And I think she has a fight with Rose coming up on the main event soon as well. So timing wise, it works out for her. She gets the first break. She gets to recover the first as the first person, and then see anybody who loses or wins within this top 8, she'll get them next.
Yeah, looks like you're right. Looks like she's got Rose Namajunas on the 24th of March.
Yeah, and then a week later is Blanchfield and Faryad.
Yeah,
I just don't know when Chukagian and Andrade is fighting.
Let's have a look. Jessica Andrade. I feel like is Jessica Andrade. She's booked for 300, isn't she? Yeah, yes. Marina Rodriguez, UFC 300.
Yes, exactly. Yep, and Rodriguez. Oh, but she's fighting at
she's fighting
another
upperweight,
division,
right?
Yeah.
You never know. You never know with Jessica Andrade. She's all over the place, right?
You can't just throw her in and be like, "Hey, we need you. We need someone who's a former champ who's good at striking, women's division." Fight right here.
I like some of the matchup. I do wonder if she's undersized for division. Natalia Silva. Did you get any thoughts on that when that fight was going on?
Nope, not really, because she had good takedown defense. Like, Vivian couldn't take her down the whole time, couldn't pick her up. So she has good takedown defense. Maybe the undersize I could see in terms of power, how she couldn't, but she did knock down Vivian too in round 1 or in round 2. So she's definitely up there. I don't know. Jessica Andrade is like 5'2". She's taller than her. Macy Barber. She's a heavy wrestler too. So we'll see if she matches up with Barber or Blanchfield. Like, they're both like very heavy based wrestling. So see how she does against an actual wrestler compared to Vivian. But I think she held up in that the division. Well, and also she has a 10 or 11 fight win streak now. So you can't, I think she's in the weight class she needs to be. You can't argue against that, right?
For sure. Yeah, I really liked her performance. Liked her on the mic afterwards as well. A lot of humility there. She just seemed like a really fun personality, right? Yep. Next, my guy, Randy Brown, doing what I hoped he would do and what I was tuning in for. Getting that straight right off the 1-2. What I love about this is he was in the corner. Yeah, I've seen it. I've got this. You guys chill. Just go back outside. I've got this. I'm going to come in there and I'm just going to go, boom, boom. Down you go, Muslim Salikov, the king of Kung Fu. I think is his nickname. And he's about to hit 40 years old. And he kind of looked every bit of it. I thought, I think this was, when you actually looked at the styles come together in the octagon, I think it was quite a really well-made matchup for Randy Brown. Kind of like we talked about, he tried and keep it on the outside and try and just pick him off, which I think is what he tried to do. And his movement was just excellent. I mean, I think Salikov tried to go to the legs early on, tried to take a bit of the movement away from him. But Randy checked, I think the third one, checked it pretty hard. And that kind of put Salikov off, and Randy was able to kind of make those points and then bring that finish. That's the style. That's the kind of style I like. Those snipers like Michael Venom Page, McGregor back in his heyday, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, those styles, those snipers, Izzy when he was actually finishing people. They're really exciting for me. So I was absolutely loving it watching Randy Brown.
Yeah, you can't hate on Randy Brown.
No.
I believe I said in our in our preview that he's gonna get a first round knockout by head kick. So I was pretty close. He did get the first round knockout. In terms of the leg kicks, you said, yeah, even the broadcast mentioned that Randy Brown had trouble with leg kicks because when he threw a leg kick, people would throw a jab right at him, and he had trouble defending those leg kicks. But I think Salka was a good test for him to understand how to check those leg kicks and return fire. Randy Brown's a fun fighter. I think he looked on point. I don't remember seeing much of his punches not land, and he controlled distance well. Little eye poke or double eye poke here, but you should watch out for that. But Randy Brown, he only lost to the best, I would say, because I did an article about him yesterday. He only lost to Bilal Muhammad, Jack Del Mandolina, and Vicente Luque, who's all three of them ranked in the welterweight division, especially with Jack being in the top 10 and Luque also being in the top 10.
That Bilal Muhammad fight was 2017.
Yeah,
2017,
7 years ago. Is what he was young. He got in the UFC. That's 2016.
Yeah,
he's been in the UFC for 8 years now.
Time.
So
it's
quick. So I don't know. Obviously, he had opportunities to get into the rankings, and losing to JDM wasn't good for him.
I think was he not ranked at that point? Was he not like 14 or 15
maybe
at that point when he lost to JDM, and that put him back out of the rankings?
Maybe because Jorge retired or something like that, and he just was not ranked and got to the 15 or 14 because Jorge got unranked and he's somebody ranked, and he lost it right away, so he didn't have a chance to defend his ranking or prove he was in the top 15 in welterweight division. But if you look at Randy and like the fighters you just mentioned, he is a good matchup with some people like Michael Venom Page, what he does with Kevin Holland, even Randy Brown and Kevin Holland. Another Kung Fu versus Randy Brown style will look good. Stephen Boy Thompson, if you want to give him that fun fight. Although Randy Brown is a brown belt in jiu-jitsu and he has some submission finishes.
Yeah.
So he did call out Michael Chiesa, who's fought once since
is he
2021. So
does he even still exist in the UFC rankings? Let me pull him up.
Chiesa's number 14.
Give you a take on that. He is still ranked.
He is still ranked, and he's on a 3-fight losing streak. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. So it will be a good matchup. So Chiesa was on the ESPN broadcast, and they talked backstage, and Chiesa said, "Let's find a date. 300 might be too early."
Yeah,
I don't know.
Chiesa's keen on it.
Oh, it sounds like Chiesa's keen on it. He said if he's a man of his word, that they'll fight. So maybe the 301 card in Brazil or later on.
Yeah,
but
that could be fun.
Randy Brown has to come back in the octagon and get another finish to prove he belongs in top 15.
Yeah, I think so. When you look at those guys kind of in and around him, Nicholas Dalby also, he's somebody who's kind of on the fringes of the ranking. That could be a fun fight to kind of be like a rankings eliminator.
But I would like to see both of them in their rankings. Like Chiesa hasn't fought in a while. Renat, the guy was number 50, Renat Fakhretdinov, he's kind of new to the rankings. I don't remember his last fight, so maybe get him a fight as well. Get Dalby in versus either guys, and Randy Brown, either of these guys as well.
Yeah, I mean his last fight was a majority decision against Eliseu Zaleski, and he also ended, but not anymore. Kevin Lee, he stuck a guillotine choke on him after a minute of the first round. That dude has got a record. He's on a ridiculously long win streak, but again, he seems to be one that's quite difficult to get in there. Yeah, I don't know. I think. Look, I want to see Randy Brown do good things. I think he's going to need a little while. I think he's going to probably need another top 15er, maybe take a hit and then build himself back up again with a real run at the division. Those Kevin Holland fights would be fun. But if he runs into somebody like a Neil Magny, Sean Brady, he's going to struggle. I think he's going to struggle against those guys. And then you're looking at rematches, really. JDM, Vicente Luque. He's probably not going to get near Jeff Neal, Ian Gary anytime soon. Maybe one after the next one. So,
well, he's
it's going to be
chasing
fun.
now. Yeah, he's chasing now JDM and Luque because they're in the rankings and he's not, and that's one of his 2 of his 3 losses in the UFC.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's go into Money Moicano, Drew Dober. Interesting fight, this one. I'm curious to see how you've scored it and what your thoughts were on that decision. I'm on the fence, to be honest.
I think the judges had it right, 29-28. I had Moicano round 1 and round 3, if I remember correctly. Moicano was just hugging Dober, to be honest. I feel he just got him to the ground and utilized his wrestling and the jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Didn't look for much finishes. He just kind of laid on top of him, put some heavy pressure, and Dober isn't as good as wrestling as Moicano. So obviously Moicano used that well. But when Drew Dober did get up, did take down Moicano, he landed the more damage. And that's when Moicano opened up and started bleeding. So it was just lack of skill for Dober to know how to, push from the hips, make your way up, and then continue. You wanted to keep it on the feet because when you kept on the feet, Dober had way more success. That 1 minute he had where Moicano tried to take him down, and he kind of suplexed him and reversed it and got some elbows and some opened it up. That's the round he won. That's when Dober won the round. He couldn't do more. So I just think it was a lackluster fight on Moicano's part, talking so much crap and big talk. Yeah, you talk so much, and then you kind of laid on the guy for 3 rounds. He did land a few punches. There was no memorable submission attempts from Moicano as well, so I can't tell the part where he could have finished the fight, but Dober could have finished the fight in that round 2 when he did open him up and continued striking with him.
Yeah, I think my assessment was that as soon as Drew Dober hit him, Moicano knew he did not want to keep this fight standing. I think as soon as he hit, there was one shot he hit him with in the first round, and it was like, oh. And Moicano kind of realized, okay, I can't stand with this guy. I mean, he's just got ridiculous power. He's got the record for the most knockout finishes in the lightweight division, hasn't he? Which is that's a division, that's a storied division with some serious players in there. So he's done, it's a phenomenal job that he's done in there as Drew Dober. I think I agree with you. I think definitely Moicano looked to lay and pray. I just think he struggled with that power. I think that genuinely took a lot out of him, and he knew kind of a path to victory, especially once he got the first one. And then Drew Dober just made a mistake in the 3rd round, in my opinion. I think if he doesn't try and do the same thing that he did to success in the 2nd round, that kind of switch with the takedown, then I think he wins the 3rd round probably if he can keep it on the feet, because Moicano looked like his gas tank was going a little bit, especially with the cut and everything like that. I think Drew Dober probably wouldn't have finished him, but I think he might have got close. Yeah, so that's where the interesting balance is, right? How do you value those powerful shots, compared to the takedowns and the dominance of Moicano, especially in that 3rd round?
And if you looked at the end of the fight with their faces, you'd think Dober came out of this clean, and Moicano was the one getting beat up.
Yeah.
So it's a testament to Dober's power and how Moicano handled himself in this fight. But it is what it is. You get the win. You are the higher ranked, so now you can look up in the rankings, see if you can move up to the rankings. But there's disappointing fight. Like this fight on paper, and for the non-casuals, it was going to be a fun fight, but Moicano decided to go the safer choice.
Yeah,
to out wrestle a guy who can't wrestle.
Yeah, and I think I think that's going to happen with Moicano. I think he's going to have these types of fights. He's going to have the really impressive performances like Brad Liddell, Jai Herbert, and the Cub Swanson one. but then he's also going to have those ones that really probably shouldn't lose. The Korean Zombie one jumps to my head. The RDA one, okay. You can look at it both ways, really. RDA is an absolute warrior, so okay. But I think he's going to have these performances. He's going to get there, and then he's not quite going to get there. Speaking of getting there, what do we think for him next? I mean, looking at the ranking, I get you've got two options, right? I don't think they're booked up as Jalen Turner or Dan Hooker, or you're jumping up to Beneil. I think
Beneil's too high of a jump to 7 from 13 to 7. I'd say look at that 10 to 11. So I do like the Turner and Hooker. Both of them don't have a fight. I think, but if you, I think McCann loses to both of them. I think Turner and Hooker are just humongous for that weight class. Not humongous, but very tall and lean, and it's gonna be tough. I'm interested in Hooker because Hooker is coming off from an injury.
Yeah,
we haven't seen him since the fight versus Turner, so it could. Yeah, you're looking up. So Jalen Turner or Dan Hooker, you could probably wait for Fiziev to come back, but I think Moicano wants money.
Yeah,
so,
I mean they've done that already, right? I mean Fiziev.
Yeah, well, the rematch, but it was a quick knockout. So yeah, maybe Gamrot. Maybe Gamrot. I don't know if he has a fight booked. He does have a fight booked. I can't remember against who exactly. I think it's RDA.
So it is indeed RDA. 10th of March. So
you could wait for the winner of that fight as well. But if you want to come back and fight real quick, Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Right. On to the not so main event. Lots going on in this fight. I am tremendously disappointed in Roman Dolidze, to be honest. I thought he was awful. I think that's one of the lesser performances we've seen from him inside the octagon. And then again, I wasn't thoroughly impressed with Imavov either, to be honest. I think he did what he could do against what Dolidze was giving him, really. I mean, he didn't, I don't know, he just lacked a little bit of, it could have been stopped. I think,
finishing
was it the first round?
Yes.
Where it could have been stopped. I think whoever the ref was, it Herb was pretty close to jumping in. But I just think, I think Imavov could have done it there. You obviously have the point taken, but Nathan Shields would be very happy because I did score that at 10-8 to Imavov.
Agreed. Me too.
So we're getting a bit more clarity on that one. Yeah, the first round.
10-8, yeah.
I think he battered him. But yeah, a bit lackluster, a bit disappointing from me.
Yeah, Imavov was winning the whole first round, and then a minute and a half left, he knocked him down and with a beautiful knee and poured it on. Like Herb Dean gave everything, all the chances to Dolidze to survive that round, which he did. So that was clearly a 10-8 round because you really won most of the rounds and then you just dominated the end. I think that was a textbook 10-8 round. I completely agree with you with Dolidze. Disappointing. I think that was definitely his worst performance since he's been in the UFC. Because I can't remember anything significant he did other than push Imavov to the fence and hold him there. And then Herb Dean kept being less and less patient of holding them down.
Yeah, I really like that refereeing from Herb Dean. It was actually quite evident throughout the night. There was a lot of calls for work. I was actually, when I was just jumping through Twitter before jumping on with you, Nicholas Dolby had actually added Mark Goddard to ask him, the referee's opinion on these types of things. So that was really interesting. And what Mark said was that he likes to warn the fighters 2 times before he does it. And then we didn't really say after that. But I think it was good refereeing from Herb actually to kind of split that up and then get less patient each time, because that's all Dolidze was doing. He couldn't get the takedown. It was very evident he couldn't get the takedown. And even when he did, Imavov would end up on his back and all that kind of thing. It was just a weird performance. Then you had Imavov's corner telling him not to forget to jab every second word, basically. Don't forget to jab him, Imavov. Use your jab. Okay, yeah. I think he gets it. But yeah, just a lack of, I think if you're Imavov and you can see your opponents putting in a performance like that, and all they're really doing is just overly swinging, you've got to go and commit something a bit more. You've got to go and commit something a bit more. He hit some nice some nice body shots, but never really that third shot. I think is what he lacked. Apart from that first round, I think he lacked the third shot. He would get the first two, a jab to the straight, and then he just wouldn't hit him with a third one. Whether that's because he was afraid of the power coming back, I don't know.
But Dolidze was not there. Since he got dropped in the
No.
first round, Dolidze was just not physically there. It reminded me of
Exactly.
like Vittori versus Hermanson. Vittori dropped Hermanson and in the first round, and Hermanson just looked like a zombie. Like he was there physically, but mentally not there. So Dolidze was the same thing. He was there physically, mentally he was not there, and he tried to kept pushing, but he just got him more tired, and couldn't do much.
Yeah, so you'll obviously have Imavov take Dolidze's 8 ranking. Oh, I mean, I'm really not in a rush to see him again, to be honest with you. Who do you look at? You know, everyone's pretty much booked ahead of him, apart from Hamzat, who's never going to fight Imavov. Come on, that's just not going to happen. Yeah, other than that, I'm really struggling, man. I'm not going to lie. Jared Cannonier, but Cannonier's not going to. I don't think he would entertain that fight on his comeback fight. I'm struggling.
I would give him a rematch versus Chris Curtis.
Yeah,
I know
guess
it's lower in the rankings, but you have to, or you'd give him the loser of Hermanson and Pfeiffer, which is happening this weekend. But I think Curtis, you got to do that rematch. It was early head clash with no contest, so get that fight back. And they were talking crap when he threw that illegal kick.
Yeah.
And he spoke in Russian when Herb was like pushing him back. He was he told Curtis, go F yourself, black guy. And I think Herb kind of understood that because he's married to a Russian woman. So he kind of got pissed about that. So that's a little
John Boguslavsky dropping all the knowledge. Herb Dean's private life, speaking Russian. Mate, you've just gone up in the estimation.
So I think he said that just to not like make sure Curtis doesn't understand or everybody else, but little as you know, Herb Dean knows a little bit of Russian. Yeah. So I think a rematch there will be nice. Will be good just to end that rivalry. Because now Eric Nipsik's also 1-1 versus Imavov. So get a 2 going somewhere.
Get it back. Yeah, I mean, my only thought, I think, did you mean winner of Hermanson Pfeiffer? Because
I think
Imavov's going to be ranked higher. Loser.
I think
surely not.
Loser. Well, it could be winner. I don't know how. Either way, I think it'll be nice. Maybe Pfeiffer will be his way of defending the ranking if he beats Hermanson.
Yeah.
But Hermanson.
Oh, Pfeiffer isn't ranked. So if he beats Hermanson, he'd come in at 10.
Yeah.
And so then you have Imavov at 8.
Yeah. So prove you belong in the top 5 to 10. So
yeah,
wouldn't be too bad of a fight, especially Imavov didn't do anything impressive since he got to the UFC.
Yeah, just book him somewhere on a prelim. Don't headline him at the Apex again. Well, just book him somewhere on a prelim, on a stacked pay-per-view.
You can book him in France, right? Since he's a French guy.
Yeah,
so main card and France would be nice. France. Yeah.
Yeah. Although we don't know how it's going to look with the Olympics this year. As for Dolidze, go and rebuild. Pick up Anthony Hernandez or somebody like that off the back of it, really, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he needs to show himself again that he belongs in top 15 because he had a good nice streak going, and you know everybody thought he won versus Vittori, but now it's like looking like he doesn't belong there.
Yeah, totally agree, and that is a fitting way for us to end. I think a fun card in the end. We'll be back later this week to preview that fight, Joe Pfeiffer and Jack Hermanson, once I've done some research on the rest of the card. So I need to, not gonna lie. I'll also point you towards Octagon that's happening this weekend as well, Octagon 52 in Oberhausen. That'll be a lot of fun. John Gamebread Boguslavsky, thank you as always for your time, and we'll catch you later this week.
See you guys.